Action.
Snap.
Welcome to Morning Minutes. My name is Michael Bergio with Mark Novak. This morning we're going to be talking about the middleman
Yes.
or woman in negotiations and what does that mean, how it can
Very
benefit
important.
you, and what we see a lot of really sort of seasoned or people who are always sort of negotiating, and a big thing they always do is insert a middleman, either themselves or
I have.
or someone else. So, Mark, tell what do we mean by the middleman in negotiations?
Look, I think if you're not a trained negotiator, you may not know exactly what we're talking about. And in every negotiation, 100%, there's got to be a middleman. There's got to be that person that's not in the center of the fire of the negotiation. And I'll give you an example. You know, when you go into a car yard and you go to buy a car, and the guy goes, "Oh, look, I don't know if I can do that price. I have to speak to my manager."
Mm-hmm.
Bang, he's introduced the middleman straight away. So it's always really clever. And that person in the middle
I lost.
You with me?
I'll go to you back. So, yep.
And that person in the middle is that neutral ground and is that facilitator of the deal. So, you know, the art of a negotiation has a middleman always in the middle. Even people quite cleverly, and you probably always hear this, "I'll have to speak to my wife." It's not because they're whipped that they have to speak to their wife. It's because they're introducing themselves as the middle person to try to take the heat off the negotiation. Very important.
It is, because there's a lot of time out there that you want to basically just think about the options, and in some situations you can't just say, "Oh, let me have a think about it," or like it's a bit confronting. So it's very good to take a bit of pressure off yourself. You change the environment by introducing that third party. Like sometimes when it's like, "Let me go speak to the manager to see if I can do that deal for you," they're just going around the corner and talking to nobody, but they're giving it time and they're giving the perception to the other party as well.
And, you know, some people call it good cop, bad cop.
Yeah. Yes.
You know what I mean? Where they introduce the good cop and the bad cop. Same thing.
I find it, yeah. And then why do you think people just don't, where do you think that benefit is? So you run the example, they're trying to buy the car and it's $40,000 is the asking price. The person who's speaking to them can discount it to 37,000. But when the buyer asks, they go, "Let me speak to the manager." Why do you think that is? Do people, is it the time? Is it they don't know where that would lead? I'm just trying to sort of run it through. I think
it's quite awkward. And I think there's a lot of awkward, like when you smash someone over the head in a negotiation point blank and you're standing in front of them. I think it's awkward for the person that's smashing, and it's all awkward for the person that's receiving. It's just, you know, it's quite, I don't think anyone's really comfortable with negotiating. And straight away someone else can take a bit of responsibility, a bit of blame, whatever, bit of heat, whatever it is. I think it's really clever, and you can maintain face like, "Look, you know, I really have to speak to my wife about this because, you know, she's not," or "Look, I've really got to speak to the manager about this." So you know, in our circumstances, we'd say, "Look, we really have to get instructions from our client, our seller." I think it can take it. You know, if you want to, as a buyer or a consumer, if you want to see be a bit antsy or be a bit upset with someone, don't shoot the messenger. You know, it's the seller that wants that more extra 5,000. You know, and I've just got to ask the question. Do you know what I mean? So introducing the middleman, really clever.
And it's okay. And I think it's more relevant when things are getting a bit tense, rather than on a smooth negotiations. It's when it gets tense. I remember listening to a training order, I think it was Lee Woodward, and it was basically You don't want to create the red and the blue corner. Obviously, you have the buyer there trying to get the lowest price, the seller the highest price, but you don't want to create like this big friction that it's like, fuck you, I'm going to try and buy it for under your legs. And no, you're going to pay an arm and a leg. So you don't want to create this like big tension. So having that part, it can, because how many times, Mike, in a negotiation when it's like either the buyer's lawyers, I don't know, said something wrong and it's created a bit of friction, and it could have actually been the buyer that created it, but you go to the owner, no, it's just his lawyer, like, relax, he's really nice. Or it's sometimes having that third party can diffuse a situation because you don't actually know who actually may have came up with the request, so you don't get you sort of a bit of doubt. So I think sometimes that is very good for negotiations because it's high stress and you don't want to always know who's on the other end, for example. So I think when I look back, always having that third party is a good way to do it. Also, it's the key for the negotiator or that third party is to be basically cool, calm and collected, because you've really got no it does definitely help if you've got no actual
you're the messenger, don't shoot the messenger.
Don't shoot the messenger type of vibe compared to being the one, especially especially if you can get a good negotiator on the other side, and if he knows you're the decision maker, then he can really put pressure on you to make a decision. There's a lot of people out there, Mark, who are a bit of a yes man. Like when you I don't know, not confront them, but you're there and you push them to make a decision on the spot. It may not always be the right decision for them or for the deal, but
that's right. You know, so on Johnny on the spot, sometimes you may make a rash or bad decision in the heat of a negotiation. So that distance from the negotiation by introducing a middleman will make you fundamentally better paced, better poised to make decisions, not on Johnny on the spot. Now, just to put this into perspective and just to remind anyone who's just tuned in, we're talking about introducing a middleman into a negotiation, how clever that is. Now, and just to qualify that we can talk about this, you know, Michael, you're in that, you do a hell of a lot of negotiations in that commercial sector of the northern beaches of Sydney, commercial real estate as well as residential.
Huge.
Operating a long time. Myself, I've been an agent for 27 years. And to put things into perspective,
and
guys...
you're the husband of Lisa Novak, and she is phenomenal.
Well, so she obviously shadows, she dwarfs me. She beats me. She dwarfs me. And I've been a real estate agent for 27 years, and I've never been asked to speak anywhere. And Lisa gets...
So obviously a lot of Lisa's charm and skills have washed off onto you, which is phenomenal. You're so lucky, Mark.
Look, I'm just put it down to intelligence. I'm just not that smart. She is. So, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm happy.
We all have our own lane, and we just stay in our lane.
Okay.
Yours is the husband.
Back to where we were. Thanks, Michael, for your support. To where we were with being the middleman. Now, this is how important it is, and this is where I was going with qualifying who I am and what I do. I am a real estate agent. I regard myself as a pretty good real estate agent, and when I sold my property, had a real estate agent sell it for the same reason we're talking about today. That when we bought Ray White, Newport, Narrabeen and Mona Vale offices about 5 to 7 years ago, I started negotiating the deal with the guys that were selling, two principals that were selling.
Yeah.
What did I do? I whacked a real estate agent, which was a business agent broker, smack in the middle of us, and I paid him a full fee, even though I'd located the sellers, even though I'd pretty much brokered the deal. I still paid him a full fee, whacked him in the middle of us too, because it was just the sane and smart thing to do to introduce the middleman. That's how important I'm not just saying it. I firmly believe wholeheartedly it's the right thing to do.
And we get this a lot. Like, I think what sparked this segment was we've been engaged by a real estate agent again recently for a commercial building in Balgowlah, and I was sort of saying to Mark, going, wow, it's another real estate agent. Like the amount of times I personally have been hired by a real estate agent, Lisa Novak.
Wow. Like Mark, the Milani brothers.
We've all been, it's very often we've been engaged by real estate agents.
Yeah, like Milani, the Milani family have asked you to do leasings on their property. They were both real estate agents.
Yes.
The late Nick Vacop, over 40 years, real estate agent, chose us to sell his commercial property that we sold in DY.
Yes. For about 10 mil or something, 8 or 10 mil back then.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
They're big deals, big transactions.
I think it was
Rod Jones, Karen Black. Remember Karen from Newport?
Jones.
Remember Newport?
Karen Black from Newport.
Yes.
Desiree Hoff from Ray White with Lisa. Now Mark Hanson selling his property First National. We are, and something I think that's we're very proud of. One, these guys again support what we're saying. They get a real estate agent. They whack a real estate agent in the middle of the negotiation, in the middle of the deal, the negotiation. Two, we're proud that we're the real estate agent. The real estate agents use over and over, and there's not a lot of these animals. These real estate agents, particularly these older and chiseled real estate agents, are using us to sell their properties. It's a good testament if you're looking for a real estate agent that we're the right guys for the job.
100%, and agents, they understand that value that can be attracted by a good agent. I think it's 5 to 10% additional for a real estate agent of their
minimum.
And I think it really shows the importance that you've got to pick an agent who is on fire now and is in the current market, not has been doing it for 30 years, was great, has a big database. Especially when first coming in, Mark, I didn't have the 10 years experience or the 20 years experience. I just had the hunger now and the last 12 months. That's all at the time where a lot of these guys hired. Myself personally, I only had the 12 months experience, but the common thing was you've got to look at hustle and pick that agent who is doing deals now. I think that's a big one. People, I think sometimes can be a little complacent or he was great, it's okay. But as we can see, Mark, the market can change dramatically in such a short period of time, which will then take buyers out and have and then buyers can't qualify for loans. So what was good data 12 months ago is irrelevant now. Like how many people, Mark, do you reckon buyers on your database are priced out? The market's come back 10%. That means there's a lot of buyers out.
Well, what's that saying? Hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle. So I think with agent selection, guys, and introducing that middleman, which is what our segment's talking about today, I think you got to, it's no use having someone that's enormously talented if they're not going to hustle for you and work really hard for you. So you've got to have that nice premium balance of a hustler, hard, 24/7 attitude, hard worker on the job, together with the talent as well, which is definitely me.
Yeah. Or marry the talent.
Or Lisa.
Yeah. So, g'day Todd. G'day Lou.
And that's why we got this here behind me on Facebook.
So
this man's a dentist. So this is something I just wanted to show everyone as a sign of my age. When we're talking about running the show today, I asked Michael if I could put this image up, and he knew nothing of what I was talking about. I then told him that we may talk about Johnny in the middle, the middleman being in the negotiation. And I said, I would like to do the 12-inch version. And then Michael said, what's the 12-inch version?
Yeah.
So then
when you ran in the early 90s.
Even before that. So before this image and before the 12-inch, there was this image in the olden days, and before there was 12-inch versions. And if anyone who's Michael's age that's watching, the image behind us the medical people cannot refer medical stuff, something like that. So what they used to do when they were I think this was a Colgate commercial for their toothbrushes, or Oral-B commercial for their toothbrushes. And they would say, this man is a dentist. We can't show you his face, but we can tell you that when he chooses a toothbrush, he chooses Oral-B. That was the ad. This ad was famous. The other thing that made me look old with Michael this morning was the 12-inch version. So in the olden days, we used to have vinyl records. And in the olden days, you used to have a single, which was on a little disc, black disc, and a full album, which was on a big black disc. But if you really, really liked the song that was the single on the little disc, you could buy the extended version called the 12-inch version, which was that's how big the record was. The record was 12 inches big.
Just for 12 songs or something like that.
No, one song.
One song. Wow.
It was the 12. It was so the single was a little black record, which was I think 4 inches. But if that song went off and was really popular, they did an extended version called the 12-inch version, and they put it on the 12-inch record. Not the whole, so what would normally take a whole album, they just put the single in there. So thanks for listening.
Yeah, good chat. All right, so guys, in negotiations, it is create that third party, leverage the manager. Even if you are a manager, leverage your wife, a partner, another decision maker, which allows you time to take a step back, and just go through it in your mind, and then come to a conclusion that's best for you.
Very important.
I think one thing, basically, tip would be never make a decision on the spot like that. Like, in a lot of negotiations, take a step back. Even if you don't need to, just do it and then go forward, because you can always change it if you've taken a step back. But
take a step back.
Yeah, if you've committed on the spot, it's hard to go back. You may blow up the deal.
Hard to go back.
So anything else you want to add this morning, Mark?
Who are we shouting out to this morning? Is Kevin Morris there again from
Todd,
South Florida?
Below. Kevin was on as soon as Insta gave him a shout before, so it was good.
Frank, how are you?
Yeah.
Salon Mosaic,
Fabulous,
how are you? Fabulous.
Kitchen, which has got cleaning salons.
He's the most amazing cleaner in the cosmos. For some reason, I like watching Fabulous. If anyone wants to watch something good, Fabulous Cleaning Solutions, Fabulous Solutions. If you enjoy watching cleaning, watch Fabulous.
Well, it's a true testament that you don't have to have a bit more of a sort of a sexy business to do social media. Like people say, I
wouldn't say that. I'd say Fabulous's business. I'd say Fab's business is sexy. Don't you reckon, Fab?
So a lot of people are like, I can't promote my social media for properties because I don't have the Gavin Rubin signed $15 million homes. I've only got a one better in DY. It doesn't matter. Whatever you do, you can promote make it sexy, give good content and share it. So don't
support
overthink
us
it. And
on
that's
our
the truth.
ride.
Yes, support us on our Thailand ride.
We're going on a ride for 100 kilometers a day on a bicycle for 5 days in a row. We need sponsors desperately. $10, $20, $30, $1,000, $1,000, whatever you can, sponsor the Nova. We're going to whack the link into our Nova Properties Facebook account so you can check it. And help us out, guys, because it's going to go towards a home for children, which I visited the home last year. Beautiful, beautiful job they're doing there. 100% of the proceeds go towards it. No silly business, no administration. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thanks for coming.
Let's wrap it up. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:45. You can rewatch this on a podcast or listen to it on a podcast. Rewatch it whenever you like. We're up and running. Thank you.
Introduce the middleman.
Yes. Share, contact, $50 drawn on Saturday. Who's shared the prize as well. So all good.
Boom.
All right. Cheers, Mark. Bye.
See you guys.